Excellent, we're in. Good morning all, and thank you so much for joining us for this quarter's Microsoft QTR. My name's Rich Lamacraft, and I'm Softcat's Microsoft Chief Technologist, and as always, I'm joined by Charlotte King, our Microsoft Corporate Lead. July is always an exciting time for us as we've just completed Microsoft year-end in June, and Softcat's financial year-end is fast approaching the end of this month. We're still awaiting the final details, but it's been an absolute whirlwind of a year. Most of it has revolved in some way, shape or form around AI. To call out some highlights for the past quarter, we've had Softcat's big cyber summit, in which Microsoft were a prominent vendor, the announcement of Copilot plus PCs, although a lot more on that later, and our inaugural Copilot Promptathon, in which customers joined us to work through some examples of business challenges using creative and repeatable prompts in Copilot. Before we dive into these updates though, CK, how have things been on your side of the business?
Thanks, Rich. Much like you, it's been a busy quarter for us on the Microsoft team. We closed off Microsoft's end of financial year just a couple of weeks ago, which seems to get busier every time it comes around. And as you mentioned, we also held our first ever customer Copilot Promptathon. What a fantastic day. I loved the presentations from Microsoft and from yourself, and it was great to see a number of our customers getting involved, prompting their heart out, and we saw lots of examples of good prompts. We're looking forward to holding more Promptathon events as we move into FY25. Talking of FY25, we've got our planning sessions in next week, which I'm looking forward to telling our customers about soon. Now, let's move on to the reason we're all here, the QTR. As usual, we're on hand to answer your questions throughout. Please submit your questions into the Q&A section, and I'll pass over to Jade to kick things off.
Thanks, CK. Hi, I'm Jade, and I'm part of the Microsoft licensing team. I sit as a corporate licensing exec, and myself and Marissa are going to run through some of the Microsoft updates. We're going to be discussing partner-to-partner transfer, Windows Server 2025, System Center 2025, SQL 2014 ESUs, and the new definition of external users. So, one of the biggest announcements this quarter is the partner-to-partner transfer on CSP. This allows customers to move partners mid-term as long as their current partner has opted in for the scheme. Both partners will need to action the move, so it's important for customers wanting to move, they will need to ask for their current provider's notice period, as this can vary from partner to partner. At Softcat, our notice period is 60 days. If you are looking to make the move, you will need to get your current provider's Microsoft ID number, which can be found in your admin center. Moving on to System Center 2025, this is another big update. System Center 2025 and Windows Server 2025 will be released later this year, and Microsoft have introduced a number of enhancements. Firstly, with System Center, there is now faster and more secure booting. It also supports the latest version of encryption technology to make sure all data transmissions are protected by the latest security standards. Additionally, they have made management easier, as you can now secure, govern, monitor, and configure your System Center managed VMs through Defender for Cloud, Azure Monitor, and Azure Update Manager. Finally, they are discontinuing Azure Profiles and System Center Service Provider Foundation, as these capabilities are now being built into Arc-enabled VMN. Now onto Windows Server 2025. There are also a number of enhancements here. There are more security updates with fewer reboots, which is made possible through Azure Arc-enabled hot patching. There is also new security capabilities in Active Directory. Windows Server 2025 delivers improved hybrid cloud capabilities, as a recent survey suggests 81% of users have a hybrid or a multi-cloud environment. As we know, AI is a hot topic at the moment, so the new Windows Server is built to support AI workloads through increasing its storage, performance, and scalability. Now on to Marissa, who will do the rest of the updates.
Thanks, Jade, and hi everyone. I'm Marissa Rose, and I'm one of the Senior Enterprise Microsoft Licensing Specialists. The first update I'm going to be taking you through today is SQL Server 2014. Today, 9th of July, marks the end of support for SQL Server 2014. As always, customers will have a few options available to them. If upgrading to a later version is not possible, extended security updates can be purchased to help your organization stay secure while planning for the future. ESUs will provide up to 3 years of critical security updates. However, they will not include new features, functional improvements, or customer-related fixes. If you migrate to Visual Service, you'll have access to ESUs for SQL Server 2014 for up to 3 years after the end of support at no additional charge, above the cost of running the Azure service. In all other cases, you can purchase extended security updates if you have active software assurance on the server. The best way to purchase ESUs is via Azure Arc. You'll be billed by Azure on an hourly basis and can manually cancel at any time, meaning you only pay for what you need. The monthly cost for SQL Server 2014 Enterprise ESUs are $856 per 2-core pack, and standard ESUs are $220 per 2-core pack. And don't forget, it's a minimum of 4 cores per server or VM. Microsoft have made an important update to the definition of external users that better reflects modern work environments while providing clear guidelines for licensing requirements. Currently, the term external users refers to users that are not employees, on-site contractors, or on-site agents of customer or its affiliates. Effective October the 1st, 2024, external users will be modified for the products that include external user use rights in product terms. The new definition will refer to users that are not employees of customer or its affiliate, contractors or agents that typically work for customer or its affiliates for more than 30 hours on average per week, or contractors or agents that typically work on-site for customer or its affiliates on each working day. The changed definition only applies to customers who sign an enrolment or agreement on or after October the 1st, 2024. I'll now pass over to Joe to go through some public sector updates.
Thanks, Marissa. Hi, everyone. I'm Joe, and I'm a Microsoft licensing specialist on our public sector Microsoft team. So here are some public sector specific updates. There's been a change to the previous announcement Microsoft made regarding storage changes for education customers. The previous announcement said that in August 2024, or at your anniversary, whichever was later, there would be changes impacting education tenancies. This information is now incorrect. Storage changes will be impacting all education tenancies on August the 1st. The reason for this is that Microsoft cannot roll these changes out tenancy by tenancy and have to instead be rolled out by region. So these changes involve all storage being pooled under the one allowance for SharePoint, Exchange and OneDrive, with a base of 100 terabytes for every tenancy. Any additional paid for A3 or A5 licenses will add 50 and 100 gigabytes respectively. So Microsoft is going to help customers with this. Microsoft is providing a free of charge SKU to customers under 2 conditions. You're either 80% of your storage utilization and you provide a plan of how you're going to progress with your storage. This allowance is only for Microsoft EES customers. So unfortunately, if you're on CSP or OVS ES, you're not eligible for this grant. So what should you do? Campus customers, you should submit your storage plans as soon as possible. The plan should include what you're going to do when the free storage falls off. So either purchase additional storage or move to A5 to increase the storage allowance. You need to provide timelines for when you're going to reduce your storage and highlight any problem users or departments and how the institution will reduce the storage consumption. So you can see your storage allowance within the M365 admin portal, and Alex Pierce has put together a very helpful calculator to help you work out your own data. This can be sent out by your account manager or licensing specialist if you don't already have it. But please note that there may be a discrepancy between the portal and the calculator. And this is because some customers have retired E2 licenses in their portal, which adds storage allowance. Education customers shouldn't have this license, and Microsoft may remove them in the future. So for safety, we recommend going off the calculation from the calculator rather than off the portal. Moving on to some government updates. So government customers who are still on legacy CSP will have their renewal after September 2024. Will be forced to move to NC by Microsoft. So we recommend that you work with Microsoft to manage this transition, to understand the changes and to limit any price increases off the back of this. I'll now pass over to Sasha for some CSN updates.
Thanks, Joe. I'm Sasha, one of our Microsoft CSMs at Softcat, and I'm here to discuss the coming funding updates for the next FY. So as Rich mentioned, it's the start of Microsoft's new financial year, and with that, there have been some changes to our incentive programs. While we still have some questions unanswered, we want to lay out the main pillars of modern work and security funding. On the next slide, we have added the most common and widely used of the different Microsoft programs. Starting with deployment vouchers, We have the Modern Work Deployment Voucher that gives you money towards consultancy projects to help you deploy workloads within your M365 tenant. We can help Microsoft to nominate you for these prior to an uplift to E3, E5, or A3 and A5. This is the same for Copilot, which requires a pre-sales nomination when looking to buy 1,000 Copilot licenses. This has to be on an EA or campus agreement and needs to be utilised within 6 months from renewal. They're roughly worth 10% of the difference in uplift. So next we have ESIF. This is funding that you can receive before or after an investment in your Microsoft estate. There's a varying array of products and licenses these can be used on, but are split into the categories of modern work, security, and education. Again, they're roughly 10% return on your investment and are to be used on professional services or consultancy. We have funded workshops. These are normally split into 3 calls of a consultant to demonstrate to you the value or how to deploy Microsoft products that you might already have or are looking to purchase. There is a set list of criteria we have to deliver with these. Microsoft have released some new additions for this year, but on the next slide, we'll be looking at the 2 of the returning updated funding workshops you might be able to access. We have Fast Track. This is a program for customers with 150 licenses. This program offers you time with an engineer to point you in the right direction for your deployment and rollout of M365 workloads. We can show you your usage data and help you with your priorities for the year in our deployment call sessions. Our engineers can demo in their test lab, walk you through your environment, and send you documentation for further understanding. And then lastly, we have solution assessments. We can help nominate you for these Microsoft-led scan and questionnaire activities. We've had really good feedback recently on these for how customers can access their own data and analytics and receive a report of recommendations for their tenants. They come in 2 flavors, so the rapid security assessment and Copilot readiness. With these areas of funding, we have grouped them into the market categories. However, all customers have unique needs and investment areas, so reach out to your account manager today to find out what is there to help your business. So on the next slide, we have, as mentioned, we have 2 of the updated returning workshops. The threat protection engagement has been around for a number of years, helping customers to better understand Defender and Sentinel. It's been revamped this year to allow for more flexibility and now includes modules on Entra. This is a 4-call engagement with 2 different consultants and is set up within your own production environment to capture real threats and vulnerabilities. And then we have the Copilot for M365 workshop has been renamed as the Copilot Value Discovery. The name has changed, but the deliverables have remained similar with 3 calls with one of our architects to look at readiness, ask the possible, and creating a plan and roadmap using use case scenarios from your own business. It also now includes using a Microsoft tool to begin that business case discovery piece. If any of these take your fancy and seem like you'd like to be involved, please contact your account manager to check your eligibility today. And then finally, in the spirit of updating things, we've taken a leaf out of Microsoft Book and have changed our monthly newsletter to include Azure updates. This newsletter is also a place of modern work updates and events from both us and our partners. If you have an agreement with us, then the person named on the agreement will be signed up to receive this. If you would like to sign up, please see the post-event follow-up or ask your account manager. Yeah, thank you. And I'm now passing over to Alex to talk about AI and Teams Premium.
Good morning to you all, and thank you for joining the session. I'm Alex Pearce. I am the Chief Strategist for Microsoft here at Softcat, and I sit within our advisory team. So I get the opportunity to work with customers and understand what you're trying to do with this technology and how does that align to that business goal. I've got the pleasure of being able to come to you today and talk to you about a few different things. Some of the AI updates, but a few things that are going on with Teams as well. So as my slides just click through here, I've started kind of introducing Copilot as a bit more of an architecture. We've got it now in several different ways, and we're going to look at it from a user point of view. We've got it as a team, so as a group of people working together, but we've also got things that we need to be considering as an organization. And that's where some of these things are going to be talked about today. So we're going to talk a bit about what did it mean for devices for users, what scenarios we might see for AI-powered machines. Going to look at what these agents can do. This is some of the things that were announced for Microsoft Builds and some of the extensibility that we get. Team Copilot. So this, as I said, it's not about Teams as a product. This is about a group of people working together. So Microsoft have made some announcements around this. But first off, we're going to talk about Teams Premium. And this might actually be your first step into using AI within your organization. Now, Microsoft have an E3, they have an E5. Now they also have a Teams Premium, they have a SharePoint Premium, and you can mix and match. You can have an E3 and a Teams Premium, or if you're on a business premium license, you can take advantage of the Teams Premium features. So you don't necessarily have to have any of those dependencies. These are some new enhanced features that are coming with Microsoft Teams. So there's a bit of a deep dive into Teams Premium. What you get for that additional license is known as the Teams Premium license. You get some additional features of what you're used to today. So with that, we have got some AI built into it. And with recaps of meetings, it's kind of known as this AI infused insight into your meetings. Now, this is not the same kind of Teams Copilot. This is slightly different. You do get the same features. I'm going to show you what those features and how they differentiate are, but this might be that first step for you. How can I get people to start using AI as a solution? I haven't got to teach them about prompting. I can just actually go off and have my meeting recaps. I've got some screenshots to show you here. So this was a meeting I did internally. About 15, 20 minutes after my meeting had finished, I could go to my Teams. I could find the meeting, as you can see here, was called Copilot Tips and Tricks, and I could click on that recap tab. That's where I can now see I've got my video, which is saved up on my stream because I recorded it, and I saved in my OneDrive because I was the owner of the meeting. And then I can see the speaker information there. You can see that I did plenty of talking during this session, and you can see where different people have kind of come in and asked questions while I've been talking from that very visual point of view. On the right hand side, because I had transcription enabled, that is a dependency. AI looks at that transcription and has automatically generated me some meeting notes. As you can see, there's 5 different points. And I've also got some follow-up points as well. Now, this is automatically generated. It's not something that you can go and talk to and you can change. And that's what you can do with the normal Copilot for Teams. It is purely just this section here, this bit of data that's kind of coming through. It's found it, it's put this data into it. So that's kind of where some of that AI is starting, seeing the speakers and where people were talking, meeting notes, follow-up tasks. We've also got a way of being able to see what topics. So AI picked up what was discussed and the topics and where were they within that meeting. So you can easily jump around to be able to find that should you want to. And also into chapters, broken it down into different sections as we're talking about Copilot and what did it think, where actually this is really useful for you to be able to jump into this one, discovering AI models, exploring Copilot with Microsoft 365 architecture. This is where it's automatically found it. So that's one of the first features that we get with this Copilot, this Teams Premium. What is different, just to point out, if you've got a Copilot for Teams that comes with that Copilot for Microsoft 365 license, the additional features you get is you'll notice up here in this top right hand corner, we've got this Copilot button. This is when I can then go and start talking to the transcription. Can you give me additional insight? Can you tell me how this person thought of the meeting, and asking it more context, and you're chatting to the transcription using AI rather than how you can see it here in this Teams Premium with a solution. But I think this is a great stepping stone for your first step into AI. Looking into some of the other things that we get with Teams Premium, we've got town halls. This is the ability maybe internally where you can go off and you can run almost a production version of Teams, where you're producing, like, this person is now live and I've got this person prepped and I can switch them out and somebody is the producer, almost like a bit of TV. This content is ready to go, this preloaded video, and you can manage it all up to be able to produce a professional looking meeting. We use these internally at Softcat for our all hands calls as an example. So a great way of being able to tier up different bits of content, people, removing calling people when they've finished and automatically muting them. So actually that production value is really high for wherever you're sending that content out to. Teams webinars, like we've got and we're using here, has got some enhancements, so we can create waiting lists. There's a 1,000 user restriction, but actually if people can't make it, they drop out. You've now got that waiting list. You can approve and decline if you don't people your competition to join your meetings or whatever it may well be, and those automatic email reminders to remind you that's going on from a meeting point of view. And of course you can brand your experience of people joining your meeting. So when you join a Softcat meeting, as an example, we might get a nice little Softcat branding on there, or a bit of a disclaimer just to remind people this meeting might be recorded or have transcription enabled because people might be using Copilot. So we can put some things in there as part of that branding. We do get some additional security and compliancy, as you can see here. This is making sure that, you know what, there are some countries out there that still don't allow necessarily video conferencing. And with this, how do we know and how can I prove that the right person is joining that meeting, considering I can't see them and they don't turn their voice on? And we can do this kind of almost like a multi-form authentication, MFA, proof of identity that you are the person joining the meeting. And you can always go off and take watermarks and put screens. So let's say you're sharing NDA content with different partners. You can put a different watermark on every single meeting with a code maybe on it. So if somebody takes a screenshot and that information gets leaked, at least you know that a code has come from that particular partner. So watermarks be able to protect the screen and the content should you want to be able to do so. And if you have a Microsoft 365 E5 license, you're taking advantage of the purview technologies. This is where you can actually take advantage of those sensitivity labels and putting them onto meetings and being able to say, you know what, this meeting is secure, it's got this tagging. That means that content automatically gets deleted after X number of days, weeks, months, years, whatever you've decided what is important as part of your purview labeling. We also get 2 additional features and products that come with them. Now, one of these is called Microsoft Mesh. Now, if you have currently got a business, Microsoft 365 Business, Business Premium, E3, E5 license, you've got a feature called avatars. I don't know if you've played with your avatar yet, but I'm just going to turn mine on. I'm going to my Teams and I'm going to go to more and visual effects. And I can actually create myself an avatar. Now, this avatar, as I say, is part of your existing licenses, and you can see me here. If you can see my video, you will see that actually I've now turned into a bit of an avatar wearing my green jumper. Or if I want to be a little bit more professional, I can put my tie on. Or if I want to be a bit more fun, I can decide to put my hat on and a bit of glasses. So you can see that actually, even though I'm still standing here waving my hands, you cannot see my hands moving. My lips are moving, but I can wave. I can do a bit of a dab as an example. I can see it's all cute and all that kind of thing. So this is where I can express my avatar and who I want to be able to be, and actually making the Microsoft platform a lot more immersive in what we can actually do. So you get that already. What Microsoft Mesh will do, and if I just start this video off, you won't hear any sounds, you're going to hear me talking above it, is being able to take these avatars and putting them into an immersive world, an immersive space. And Microsoft have pre-built and defined some of these spaces, but you can also go off and build your own. Think about it as an all hands call, being able to get everybody around a Softcat branded auditorium, breakout rooms based on the different areas, and all of a sudden we can meet together in a single place. Feels a bit gimmicky, and I appreciate that, but some of the feedback I've seen from different people is saying in different organizations that actually makes people feel more inclusive because they're all in the same environment. They're all actually talking, they can see each other, and actually we can still share all of the content that we need to across it. And then we can also go off and use some of the gaming technology to be able to actually build these environments should we want to be able to build our own custom one as well. So that's Microsoft Mesh. It comes with Teams Premium. I wonder how many of you are actually now going off and trying to make your avatars, but I'll leave that for another time. What I'll do is I'll just take my avatar off and go back to my normal camera. So you can and see me as normal. The next feature, and the last one that kind of comes with Teams Premium, is something that Microsoft have made a bit more of an announcement of over the last couple of weeks, and that is Microsoft Places. So again, I'm going to play this video with no sound, but the idea here is that with your calendar, individually, you may well start saying, do you know what? I'm working from home this day. I'm working in the office. I'm working in this particular office. I'm going to work in this building, depending on how big your organization are, which then enables people to find out where you are. Now, that might scare people. I don't want people to know where I am, but the idea is that they can collaborate with you in person and work with you in person. So actually we can go off and we can start going, you know what, this might be the better office for you to go into on a Wednesday because both CK and Rich are going to both be there. We've got a bunch of meetings together. It's making recommendations that maybe I should go to our Marlow office to be able to work together. Or let's just say the pizza van's now arrived outside of the ice cream, and you can see it says here nearby, and you're doing an ad to everybody that's in that office to let them know that you can go and get some free ice cream from the ice cream van outside. And I'm sure you'll come up with different scenarios, but it just be able to bring people together and using technology to let them know this is where we are. This is how we can work together. These are meeting spaces that we can go off and do. And then from an administrative side of things, we can go off and we can start to understand the demand on our offices. So from an estates team, how can they ensure that, you know what, the right people, the right number of seats and the desks are in the right offices in the right space? Are we struggling with meeting spaces and that kind of thing? And that's kind of our last feature from a Teams Premium point of view. So if you want to know a bit more about Teams Premium, do let us know. We can always talk to you a bit more about that. So let's go into a little bit more around some of these other features that we've actually got from a Copilot architecture and some of these new things that Microsoft are talking about. So the first one of these is these new Copilot Plus PCs. Now, Microsoft announced this the same week as Microsoft Builds. And with this, we've got this ability to be able to run AI locally on the machine. So none of this sending it up to the cloud, it can run on your local machine. Now, some of this with this Snapdragon technology, ARM, if you've heard of this is new hardware that's gone on to your Copilot Plus PCs. Now, you can see here, we're working with Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Samsung, and of course, Microsoft have got some of their own devices coming that are going to run these Copilot Plus PCs. What it's doing, it's giving you three type of processing units. You're used to your CPU, that's what's processing for you to have Teams open now. You might have a bit of graphics chip that's running kind of the video that you might share on a call. But this new NPU, the Neuro Processing Unit, is this AI-infused chip, which allows it to run over 21 million transactions per second. So incredibly fast, massively kind of helps from a power point of view because it's using this new ARM technology, which means AI can run locally on that machine. So we get all our normal Windows 11, but now we've got AI and we've got these small language models that different applications can then start to use. So people from Adobe, CapCut, video editing, third-party solutions will start building now on top of the AI built onto the local machine. So these small language models kind of come out, and Microsoft have already put one onto the device, which is called Pi. It's one of their own. And this is based on 3.3 billion parameters. That's the bits of information that it's trained on. And just to show you what ChatGPT's GPT-4 Turbo looks like, it's trained on 1.7 trillion bits of data. So you kind of can see how this is kind of massively smaller compared to it's still got lots of parameters that it's trained on, which means then the different applications can go off and use this AI. It may well be Adobe, as an example, with Photoshop. They send the AI up to the cloud. It's going to cost them more money. It means your licensing costs are going to go up. But if we get them to develop it on the local machine, they can keep that license cheaper and more efficient, and it's more environmentally friendly because we're running things locally on that machine rather than these big data centers. As I said, Microsoft are releasing a set of applications and features that come with these Copilot Plus PCs. And with this, we've got the ability to be able to go into Paint, draw a nice little turtle, as you can kind of see here, That's not my drawing. I wouldn't be able to draw anything near as good as that. But as you can see with the Co-Create AI tool built into Windows 11 Copilot Plus PCs, it can start to transform your picture into something a bit more fun, and certainly better for my artistic impressions. From a Microsoft applications, and it's not just Teams when it comes to video editing or video itself. This could be a Zoom call or something if you're doing a WhatsApp call or whatever it may well be. This is about videoing. Now, I'm looking at you. I have a monitor above my laptop. So if I kind of point directly to my screen, like my camera here, you can see where my finger is. That's me now looking directly, but I'm often looking at the screen above. Well, with the NPU chip and AI, it can automatically make sure my eyes are always looking at the screen by moving and changing the image. So my eyes are always looking at the screen. So a bit scary, but it's something as an option available to you. That blur background, that now runs on the NPU, freeing up CPU power. So it's actually making it a lot more faster on your machine because we can now pass it off to the different kind of processing units. Transcription, great, it goes off to the cloud and takes that transcription, but now we can do it on the local machine. We can go off and we can translate that all on the local machine. So all that data, the things that you're talking about, can stay locally rather than going to the cloud. And a lot of people don't like the fact that it goes to the cloud because, well, it's being processed by somebody else. Where is it being processed? And Microsoft are very open that they do it within the data agreements that you want. Well, that means now everything's on that local machine and runs on that endpoint. One of the big ones at the moment that is being discussed and is not actually been released with Copilot Plus PCs is the Windows 11 recall. Now, the idea for this is over a set of time, it starts taking screenshots of your machine and it almost becomes like a history of what you've been doing on your machine. So, and using Microsoft example, let's say you've been looking for a red dress for your mum for Christmas and you've lost the link. You can't find the link. You can open up Microsoft Recall or the Windows 11 Recall and search into the search area red dress, and AI has looked at all those screenshots and has gone, oh, okay, that's a red dress. So you can search it, find it, and then you can bring up the screenshot and you can find the URL, you can find the image. And as I had recently with a colleague, he managed to lose a lot of work inside of a Word document from how it got kind of overwritten and the text was lost. And he said, this would have been really useful to be able to just go back and get that text. So some people are liking the idea that actually having screenshots because it helps them from a work point of view. Some people are a bit more apprehensive. They don't like the idea of it taking screenshots. And that's fair enough. So what Microsoft has said is this will be off by default and you need to turn this on. And you can do that on a per user basis. Or if you're an admin, you have the ability to be able to go off and turn this off blankly across your whole environment using Intune as an example. Some of the privacy kind of comes in here. We've got to be able to index the content. We've got the data classification that kind of comes in because then it stores it in your encrypted database. So this data compliancy kind of comes in really importantly, storing it for 3 months, stores the encrypted bit of data. It's not indexing anything that's in private browser inside of Edge, and it's also following the digital rights management around your different applications. My question to you is, do you know which applications actually use the digital rights management? Because if you go and take a screenshot and you click that print screen button on your machine, it's using those digital rights to make sure that actually anything that's taken from a screenshot point of view goes black rather than necessarily anything else. So that's your Copilot Plus PCs. Just very briefly, we'll go into this team Copilot. There's not much information out from Microsoft regarding this. So that's why I can't give you too much of an insight around it. But the idea here is that you work as a team, you have a project together, you might have a project manager, somebody from marketing, a developer, a manager, whatever it may well be, but it's about a group of people. And then I can assign a Copilot, an AI assistant to this team to be able to go off and start doing different elements. And that can flow into the rest of the Microsoft applications with the agent technologies that it's got. And if I just play this video here, again, you won't hear any sound, but this kind of demonstrates that we're going from that user side of a Copilot to a team. And some of the things that you'll see in this little video here will include, like, it's always in the meetings together. So it's always there, taking notes for you, listening into the conversation, making sure you stay on track. You don't weaver off, and you train the AI to, this is the task that as a team we are going to be completing. So it can help you to stay on focus. Feed it the data that you need. It can look at the data that you need. It can follow you into meeting spaces and do the notes automatically, as you can see here on a screen. And then it can listen into the chat. What are the actions? What are the decisions being made? And then you can ask Copilot to go off and do certain things for you. Let's say one of the actions is, and you'll see this popping up in the screen in a second, I need a blog post written on that. Do we need a blog post? Yes, we do need it. All right, well, I'll stick it into Planner, as you can see here, write a announcement blog post. And Copilot, if you tell it to, can go and write that blog post for you. And then somebody can sit down and they can start to understand kind of what's going on and what that blog post is like. So this is some of that future. We don't know how it's going to be licensed yet. Haven't seen any demos of it. We've just got this kind of video from Microsoft to demonstrate this is some of that AI thinking to be able to work collaboratively as a team. Moving on with my slides. So my little last section, as we've got here, needs to talk a little bit about Copilot and the extensibility options that we have. So when I talk to customers about Copilot for Microsoft 365, it's not just about what we can do with Teams and Word and Excel. There's over 16, 17 applications now that have got Copilot built into them as part of your Copilot for Microsoft 365. But we have the ability to be able to extend this even further as part of that licensing. One of these products is actually called Copilot Studio, and you can actually go and buy this separately. And again, this is another place where some people are going off and actually starting with their AI journey. Because for $2,000 for the year, for the tenancy, I can have access to Copilot Studio. Now, it comes with some certain limitations, and happy to have those conversations with you here at Softcat. But the idea is I can go off and build my own Copilot. I have this ability to be able to go, you know what, I'm going to build a IT services or a HR Copilot for HR, let's call it. I'm going to feed it all my policies. So then when somebody goes off and chats to Copilot for HR, it's asking, and yet they can talk to the documents, the knowledge base that we've got around that Copilot and that data, which is that HR policies. I can use external data. I can do all sorts of different bits of data that I can bring in. If I want to start bringing in the Microsoft content from services, from our Dynamics, from our Copilot for Microsoft 365, our mailbox, that's where I need those additional licenses. So Copilot for Microsoft 365 with the extensibility of Copilot Studio enables you to do a lot. What kind of things can we start to go off and do? Well, one of these is actually going to be the Copilot for SharePoint. And again, I'm going to play this with no sound. But the idea here is that I just need to make it really easy, people, to be able to make a Copilot. I just want to be able to chat to 5 or 6 files. And what you'll see here, and kind of going to come up as an example, is somebody opens up SharePoint, a document library. They're going to go into a set of files, as you see here. They're going to select the files they want, create a Copilot. I've now got a Copilot just based on that data. I'm going to talk to just that data. And that's really powerful. What is it based on some standards or a project or a bid that you're working on? Or a set of actually standards that you've got to have. You can go and just talk to those individual standards that are available for you. So again, really powerful. So when we start to look at the Copilot Studio element, we can start building out different elements. Got this ability to be able to create connectors. When I chat to my data and I say, you know, I've got my Copilot for Microsoft 365. Can you tell me everything about Alex Pierce? It's only looking at my mailbox, my OneDrive, and my SharePoint files. Well, I can now bring in external data. So I really, truly can get everything about Alex Pierce in all the different systems that the organization has. I can tell it who the AI is. This is what this prompt section is. AI is, you are a IT services bot. You are HR resources. You are a recruitment bot. So you're giving the context to who the AI is. And then we can start building actions. If somebody says this, I automatically want you to go off and do this. Did this resolve the problem as an IT support bot? The person says no. Fine. I have now logged this for you within our IT services solution. And that's an action. That's Power Automate going off and automatically logging this for you using those different flow technologies and actions that we can go off and do with Power Automate. And then we can obviously have this conversational side of things and build topics of knowledge. So when we start to look at our Copilot Studio, the ability to be able to bring in our data, the prompts telling it who the AI is, the actions that we wanted to be able to go off and do, and then the knowledge. We've got conversational AI based on the data or silo data, whatever you want it to be, you can go off and you can build these. And I think that's really powerful. So the conversations and the challenges I want to leave you with today is asking, what's your investment in the Power Apps platform and Power Automate? And there's now this AI builder where you're seeing it's like this recruitment AI bot, it's a IT services HR bot, whatever you want it to be able to do, you can tell it. You can tell it to score things. Can you look at this CV against the requirements of a job? And you need to score every single element of the requirement out of 5 and then tell me if they should be hired or not, or go to the next interview stage. That's something that we can do with these AI bots and using the Power Platform to be able to develop things. So as a final example, I'm building out something at the moment that looks at my emails. So when an email comes in for my train ticket to get to London, it finds my departure time and my arrival time, sticks that into my calendar automatically. But I can also tell it to put an action in there to put 30 minutes in beforehand, because that's how long it takes me to get to the train station. The same at the end of the day, my return journey, my 30 minutes drive home, and then also to go and put something in Microsoft Planner to be able to say, Alex, don't forget to do your expenses. That's the kind of thing we can go off and create our own personal assistants using these AI technologies. So as a final kind of slide here, from my point of view, it now then start having this conversation of what other data can you bring into your organization. That was that pillar down that right side when I talked about the Copilot architecture. Data, your modern data architecture. We're here at Softcat to be able to talk to you about all of these, how to secure those, how can we bring those bits of data in, and we would welcome any kind of conversations from Copilot Studio, Copilot plus PCs, but also how that modern data architecture, your data endpoints, we secure your data to ensure that you get the best value out of your Copilot for Microsoft 365. And over to you, Paige.
Thanks, Alex. That was great and really interesting. I'm looking forward to the upcoming changes and introductions. Hi all, Paige McCurr. I'm an Azure Solution Specialist. Here at Softcat, I sit on our Azure team. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at some of the Azure related updates. Firstly, we're going to have a look at Microsoft Fabric, and then we're going to look at Copilot for Azure. And then finally, we're going to have a look at Azure AI services. If we pop onto the Fabric updates, appreciate this is quite a content-heavy slide, but don't worry, we will share this across with you following the event. However, just a few key things that I'd like to pull out of this is these are the updates that have happened since March. So on the last QTR, I discussed some of the Fabric licensing updates, that the P SKU or the Power BI SKU would be retiring. Just a reminder on that again. If you are looking to transition to the F SKU or the F capacity, how you do so is within the Azure portal. You go and you set up that F SKU within the Azure portal. When you go to create your Fabric resource, throughout the creation time frame, you select the capacity that you are looking for and you create the resource, and the capacity will then be linked intrinsically with that resource. If you need some support on getting that set up, please reach out to myself or your account teams and we can support you there. A few other updates, but another key one that I'd like to pull out is the real-time intelligence update that was announced during Build 2024. So essentially, the next evolution of real-time analytics and data activator is here. With real-time intelligence, Fabric extends to the world of streaming and high-quality granularity data, enabling all users in your organization to collect, analyze, and act on this data in a timely manner, making it faster and helping more informed business decisions. Real-time intelligence includes a wide range of capabilities across ingestion, processing, analysis, transformation, visualization, and taking action. And all of this is supported by the Real-Time Hub, which is the central place to discover and manage your streaming of data and start all the related tasks. Next, we're going to pop onto Copilot for Azure. There's a lot of Copilot going on, so I thought this would be a really good one to cover today. And essentially, Microsoft Copilot in Azure is an AI-powered tool that is designed to enhance productivity and efficiency within your Azure ecosystem. In terms of capabilities, it helps users navigate through Azure's vast array of services and resource types, unifying knowledge and data to streamline operations. Additionally, Copilot in Azure can answer questions, generate queries, perform tasks, and act on your behalf, all within the bounds of your organization's policies and privacy. It is accessible through the Azure portal or the Azure mobile app if you use that, and it allows for natural language interaction, simplifying the management of your Azure resources. So global administrators have the option to control access to Copilot in Azure within their organization. It operates with a focus on security and compliance, requiring user confirmation for any actions taken. It is currently in preview, meaning it's available for users to try, but not yet released into general availability. So stay tuned, and we will update you when it does go into general availability and when we have more information on those dates. Finally, a really key point here is responsible AI. So Microsoft is committed to responsible AI practices and has a dedicated FAQ section addressing concerns and questions related to AI ethics and governance. If you have any difficulty locating that, please reach out and we can support you there. But Microsoft Copilot in Azure offers a wide range of practical use cases that can significantly enhance business operations and productivity. Here are some examples. So, you can have more custom solutions, so a custom support chatbot, for example, that is developing AI-powered chatbots to handle customer queries, answer FAQs, and provide product information. Tailored data analytics tools, for example, so you can create tools for specialized data analysis, like predicting sales trends, inventory needs, and then next we have more industry-specific documentation automation, for an example. So you can automate documentation processes that understand the nuances of your industry. And then slightly more IT management focused, we've got design services. So you can create and configure services while aligning with your organizational policies. We can operate resources, so we can author complex commands and manage resources with ease. Troubleshooting issues, so we can have a summary of issues, identifying causes, and then suggesting solutions across your Azure services. Optimizing your environment, so it can support in improving costs, scalability, and reliability through tailored recommendations. So these are just a few, and it's not an exhaustive list, but these use cases demonstrate how Copilot in Azure can streamline various aspects of business operations, from everyday tasks to more specialized applications. Now diving into Azure AI Service, and I thought it would be really good to, before I jump into the updates, to do a brief overview of what these services may look like within Azure. So Azure AI Services are a suite of cloud-based AI capabilities that are designed to help developers and organizations build intelligent applications without requiring the deep expertise in AI or data science. So Azure AI Services offer a range of out-of-the-box as well as customizable APIs and models to rapidly create intelligent applications. They cover a variety of domains such as natural language processing, search, monitoring, translation, speech, vision, and decision making. A few key services that we've got up on the screen there. I won't go through all of them, but again, just so you can see the vast array of things available to you within the Azure AI Services portfolio. Some of these can be used individually. However, it's sometimes easier to deploy the entire package and then only tap into what you need to instead of having to go and redeploy for each individual one. Most of these services are accessible through REST APIs and client library SDKs in popular development languages. Pricing and billing is based on pricing tiers and based on the number of transactions. So if you want more information and understanding around the commercials of these services and how they work, please do reach out to myself or the account teams, and we can certainly support you there. Very importantly, Azure AI services are built with security and compliance at their core and backed by Microsoft's extensive cybersecurity investments and expertise. Various businesses have leveraged Azure AI services to improve operations and customer experience. Some examples include enhancing accessibility, search engine optimization or SEO, and risk detection in an industry such as banking. We'll pop onto the updates now and I'll run you through these. They're not many, but some of these might be quite key. So the first one is an Azure OpenAI service update, and that is the GPT 4.0 release. So that model is now available in new regions across the global reach. Token-based billing for fine-tuning. Billing for Azure OpenAI fine-tuning is now based on the number of tokens in your training file, which can lead to cost reduction. Customer Managed Key, CMK support as well. And then we have Assistance v2 in preview, which is a refreshed Assistance API that is publicly available, featuring new tools like file search and vector storage and support for managing token usage. Now we'll have a look at some Azure AI service updates, and the first three are linked to Azure AI Vision. So we have multimodal embeddings in general availability. So a new multi-language model supports text search in 102 languages, enhancing the multimodal embeddings API. We have image analysis as well, major changes to align with other Azure SDKs, including support for JavaScript and generally available computer vision REST API. Lastly, for the Azure AI Vision, we have an Analyze Image 4.0 in general availability. The Analyze Image 4.0 REST API has reached general availability, offering improved image analysis capabilities. The next two are more general enhancements, such as new text-to-speech capabilities, enhanced speech synthesis features for more natural and varied voice outputs. And then we have model catalog expansion. So the Azure AI model catalog is soon to be generally available, featuring diverse state-of-the-art AI models from leading industry providers. So a few updates here, but these updates reflect Microsoft's commitment to continuously improving Azure AI services, making them more efficient, accessible, and cost-effective for users worldwide. That's a wrap from me on the Azure updates. As mentioned multiple times, please reach out to your account team or your aligned Azure specialist to support you on anything that we've discussed today and anything that we haven't discussed today if you feel like there's something you'd like to dive into in a bit more detail. But for now, that's all from me. Thank you. And I'm going to hand over to CK.
Thanks, Paige. I've put my avatar on a beach to will the sunshine to come back. That brings us to the end of our last QTR of FY24. Thank you to everyone for joining. Hopefully my avatar is a good likening to the real deal, but I'll let you decide. Please do submit your feedback so we can continue to tailor the QTR to what our customers want to see from us. You can scan the QR code on screen now or wait for the follow-up email, which will include the feedback link. The recording will also be available shortly. And all that's left to say is thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of the week. And I'm going to do a little peace out sign with my avatar for you all.